I've always loved tattoos. It's a reminder of where I've been and where I want to go. Like the completion of my tattoos is somewhat incumbent on me continuing to do field conservation, continuing to work towards my goals. It's a conversation starter. A lot of people walk by and it's, oh, I love your tattoos, or I love frogs, and it's kind of that bridge. Kids will be like, hey, Mom, look at his tattoos. And it starts that conversation, and it's cool to see that passion in kids, because when the kids, especially if they recognize the species, they'll tell you, they'll give you a diatribe of the whole natural history of that animal, and you're like, my earliest memories are being, just knee-high, probably 2-3 years old, catching toads with my grandmother on her front lawn. That has always been my passion. I had iguanas, I had savanna monitor, fish, small lizards, anoles, things like that. People were like, oh, it's a reptile, it's gross. And there was just kind of that draw to that natural curiosity lent towards that odd, and what everyone else wasn't looking at or ignoring, I kind of wanted to know more about it. Reptiles, so often we think of them as these cold animals that have no emotions. I think those emotions are there. I just think they're much more understated than what you see. A dog or a cat, they run up to you, they're excited to see you. I think with reptiles, there is some of that there, but again, we try to always think about how does an animal think in a person's terms, and we need to start switching that of, we got to start thinking in their terms. Trying to understand and then empathize with what they see the world with how we're affecting the world, and what we can do to try and, better the world for those animals. That's a huge thing with reptiles and amphibians. It's not, 1 or 2 new species a year. Sometimes it's 1 or 2 new species a day that we're finding. And so many of these animals are in need of conservation and, a general empathy from the public. 10 years ago, it was you keep them warm, you keep them watered, you keep them fed. We didn't look at things like social dynamics, how they're interacting with their environments. We have at the Aquarium and Reptile Center right now, we're actively training 8 lizards up there, 2 turtles, 2 fish. These are animals that 10 years ago, that was not even considered a possibility. We're seeing so many more of these behaviors, and it's really cool to be a part of this field right now as that's happening, because it's going to continue to evolve. We're going to continue to see more of this, and I think we're going to really start to truly understand the intelligence behind these animals that, for so long were just that cold-blooded thing that sits in the corner, and they're so much more dynamic than that. Me sharing my passion does give a voice to those animals. If I can get that one person that has that thought of, oh, the only good snake is a dead snake, to stop and reconsider that, again, that's my purpose, that's my goal. Getting somebody that may not have empathy for the cold-blooded side of the animal kingdom to start having that empathy there, I think that's what we do with the Aquarium and Reptile Center. My passion was ignited by, people I met through my life and experiences, and if I can be that conduit for the next generation, if I meet one little kid and their meeting with me invigorates that passion in them, they push on to have an impact on the world, especially with reptiles and amphibians. That to me is, I've done what I need to do. Like, I've shared my passion enough to get somebody else to pursue their passion.